on a without prejudice basis. Now this is concerning a shire or a council, whatever you want to call them, or they're both the same thing, shire council. Well anyway, I paid my shire rates by direct debit payments basically, and they received payments in increments, and over this period of time I noticed there was money that was going missing. So earlier I thought, the full amount's not coming off my account, what's going on here? So I made inquiries, and then you know, they say, oh, we'll look into the matter, and then you don't hear anything, and then you go make another inquiry, and they says, oh yeah, we haven't been able to look into the matter and all this. And so basically I had to go backwards and forwards. I think it worked out to 7 times. I went in there to inquire, to find out what was going on, or some sort of correspondence, and it worked out 7 times I actually inquired with them. And I noticed that only a certain amount was coming off my account, and the rest of it was missing. So I thought, this is odd. And it worked out to be 120 payments that I actually had money go missing from. Now, when I finally got them to tell me what the hell was going on, after a lot of hassle and a lot of problems over a long period of time, which you can imagine, 121 payments had missing money, so it was a long period of time, they turned around and said it was fees. And I said to them, well, fees and charges are already on the account. You can't charge extra fees and charges off separate to the account, and there's no record of this money. There's only so much come off the account, but the rest of it is missing. So how can it be fees and charges? Well, in my opinion, on a without prejudice basis, mind you, they've taken so much off my account, and then someone was stealing the rest of the money, because that's what it is. It's theft. If money goes missing, it's theft. There's no other way you can explain it. I mean, there's no record of it, and it's illegal to charge you a second lot of fees and charges separate, directly out of a direct debit that doesn't go off your account, where your account already has your fees and charges and everything on it. I mean, it's bloody expensive enough as it is. They rip you off without saying, oh, there's extra fees that where it disappears to nowhere. Well, anyway, so trying to deal with this matter, and then in the end, this so-called missing money that they reckon that had not come off the account over this time period, they'd charged me 11% interest on it. So, I mean, not only they ripped off my money, stole me money, which is what I'm saying, which is highway robbery, then they charged me 11% on that money that hadn't come off the account, saying that hadn't been paid off. So, in the end, I mean, I'm having no luck with them. Now, on top of that, they actually changed their contract to a different waste service, where they actually come and collect your rubbish. They actually contract it out, and it's in a country town, so they picked a particular one. And what happened was, when I originally came here and bought the house, there was no rubbish bin. So they said, if you want your rubbish collected, you've got to buy a rubbish bin. And I'm talking about quite a few years ago. And it cost me $97 to buy one of these green wheelie bins. I mean, I don't know what they're worth now, but it was $97 when I bought it. And so I bought it, and they took me rubbish. But now, because they've put the contract to another mob that does it, they've got to use their own green wheelie bins. So they came here and they wanted to take my rubbish bin away and claim mine that I paid for and actually own for their lend rubbish bin. And I said to them, no way, you don't take my rubbish bin. Well, in the end, the guy says, well, if I don't take that, well, you're not going to get one of ours. And I said, I don't care. I said, I mean, I bought that, I own that, and I'm not taking a lend one. So when you end your contract, I've got to buy a new rubbish bin again. I said, no way. So in the end, I mean, he grabbed the bin. He was actually going to take my bin, actually walk off the property with it. Regardless, I told him not to take it or touch it. And I said to him, I've got the serial number, I've got the receipt, I've paid for that rubbish bin. If you take it, I will report it stolen. So what he did, he decided to throw it to the ground, handle down into the ground. And he threw it to the ground, and then they refused to give me a one of their so-called trash cans or rubbish receptacle, whatever you want to call it, green wheelie bin. And so I thought, oh well. But I put mine out to see if they'd collect it, and they refused to collect it. So I mean, this has been going on, I think it's over 2 years now. I have not had the service of trash collection. I mean, I put the bin out, but they won't pick it up. They won't touch it. I've been to the council. In actual fact, this particular situation, I've actually been at them 9 times all up, all regarding this waste disposal and everything like that, and they haven't bothered to do anything about it. And I've told them, well, I'm not paying the fees and charges when you're not providing this service, and they refuse to pick it up. You contracted them, you're the one charging me for it, so you're supposed to sort it out. I tried to deal with them, they refused to deal with me, and I'm getting no trash collected. Well, anyway, they straight away rejected and said, no, you've got to pay the charges and fees and everything. And I said, no, well, I don't, because you're not providing the service and you didn't deal with them, and every time I say something to you, you don't bother to do anything about it. Well, in the end, I got onto the state government, and there is an act that actually deals with it. It's Waste Resources Recovery Act or something, 2007. Now, I got a response from the state government, and they actually said they can only charge you, which is under section 67, which is if a property has been provided with a waste receptacle, and in brackets rubbish bin, trash can, etc., etc., by a local government can impose the annual charges. And it's got section 67(1), and stuff like that. But they did not provide me with a waste receptacle or a trash can or rubbish bin or whatever you want to call it. They refused to provide one. They refused to do anything about it because the ones contracted wouldn't pick up my waste and stuff like that. But basically, I mean, they're now saying that I've got to pay it anyway. So, I mean, it's actually ridiculous. So, I mean, they're saying that even though I'm not getting the service, I've still got to pay the bill, even though they're not within the requirements of that act, saying that they didn't provide me a trash receptacle, but they can still bill me. This is beyond a joke. I mean, how logical is it if you're not providing the service, then that person's not going to pay? And if you're not willing to fix up a problem with a contractor that you contracted, well, how the hell do you expect me to fix up that problem? Because they won't deal with me. They want to take my property and replace it with their loaner rubbish bin. Well, in the end, I mean, I actually sent them the copy of the response I got from the local government to say it was under that section and everything like that. And the funny thing was, I was actually down at the supermarket and I was doing some shopping, and when I come home, someone had got within my boundary of my property, which is nearly a 6-foot high fence, which is actually 1,500 if you want to know correctly, and they've got in there somehow through a locked gate and actually dumped a trash can, a trash receptacle, a green wheelie bin, whatever you like, inside my property, in front of my gate, blocking my entrance into the property. And so when I come back, I think, oh, someone's dumped a rubbish bin. Of course, I mean, I couldn't open the gate up because if I unlocked it, the bin was in the way. It was right behind the gate, jammed against it. I thought, well, how the hell they got it in there? They must have climbed over the fence or something. I don't know how they got it in there. But still, they've dumped it in my property, so now they're going to say, oh, you have got a trash receptacle, so that might be their excuse, that they're going to charge me all these fees, plus 11% on it and everything like that. But the thing is, they even breach their own bylaws, because under their bylaws, you're not to obstruct entrance to and from a property in any way whatsoever. So anyone who hinders access to and from a property that someone owns is in breach of the council bylaws. Yet they're the ones that blocked my gate. I actually had to climb over the gate, across the top of the trash can, and jump down onto the path behind it to pull it out the way so I can access my gate. I mean, they seem to be a law upon themselves. They don't worry about the Waste Act where, they're not entitled to charge me because they didn't provide the service, they didn't bother to do anything about it, they didn't give me a trash receptacle, then they charge me 11% on it, then they turn around and they steal my money out of my direct debit payments, and only a certain amount comes off the account, and then they charge me interest on this money, and then they turn around and they block my property, so they hinder me accessing my property under their own guidelines and own bylaws. And not only that, I mean, if they got into my property, put that bin in there, so they were inside private property, locked up and everything, and it's basically an offender on premises. So they committed a criminal act there, getting into my property to dump this rubbish bin in my property. So, I mean, this council seems to do anything they like, anytime they like, and they're not accountable for it. Well, I've given this complaint to the Ombudsman's office, and I mean, it's been approximately, well, actually, it was about 3 weeks when I followed up after I gave them the complaint, and actually it was over 3 weeks. And when I called to follow it up and everything like that, I've been told, oh, they've got to request paperwork and information from the council. I mean, 3 weeks and they haven't even requested this information yet. And then I said, oh, you know, can you give me a rough time frame when you're going to, you know, deal with this matter and, you know, come up with some sort of result? And they says, oh, no, we can't give you a time frame. And I says, well, you know, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, you know, how long would it likely to be? And they says, oh, no, we can't give you a time frame. We don't actually have a time frame where we need to investigate this, and, you know, you'll just have to wait until, you know, we can get the paperwork from them. And, you know, it's like anyone that's got to deal with this this Shire and this council, or anyone that's got to deal with a government department, it's like no one will do anything because it's a government department. It's like, they can do whatever they like. They're above the law. They can breach their acts. They can break the law. They can do what they like. They can, you know, rip you off, take your money, and stuff like that. And no one seems to want to do anything about it. Now, because they're aware that it's gone to the Ombudsman's office to be investigated, I now got a threatening letter, and in the letter it's basically said to me that I have 10 days to pay the full amount, otherwise they're going to take legal action against me. And so, I mean, basically now they're saying that I've got to, well, according to their letter now, which I can't understand how the hell it ended up that high, but according to the letter, it's over $3,000 that I actually owe them. They reckon that I've got to pay them $3,000. I mean, I can't see how it can be so high when I've been doing payments by direct debit, and then occasionally when I had the extra money, I've actually gone in there and paid them cash, and gone and paid an extra $50 over the counter in the office on top of the direct debits, so that I make sure that, you know, I'm getting payments in there and they're getting their money and so forth. But now they're telling me that I owe them over $3,000 and I've got 10 days to pay it in, otherwise I can take legal action. I mean, so if you're dealing with direct debits with your Shire or council, I'm not sure if you're going to be listening to this and be in the same area as me, but just check that your direct debits are coming off your account and there's no missing money. And, you know, just check, because everyone's talking about scams. You know, you get scammed on the internet, or scam emails, or scam phone calls. I'm being scammed by a local council. How unbelievable is that? They're ripping me off. They're scamming me. They're, you know, and it's not the only thing I've heard this council has been up to. But anyway, I can't go into that because that's hearsay. But the thing is, no one seems to deal with these councils. So, I mean, even though I've got legitimate problems and complaints and everything, and I've been all around the world, even the local government said, oh, because it's not in breach of one of our acts or our requirements, we can't do anything about it. It seems like no one can do anything about it. No one's got the power or the body or the personnel that can actually do anything about a council that rips you off, charges you fees that they're not entitled to, when there's an act. Who enforces this act? This act says they can't do it, but it doesn't mean anything. It's not worth the words that are in it, because it doesn't get enforced. No one does anything. And I mean, where's the law when a council actually takes money from you and there's no record? It goes missing. It's gone. It's not off your account. It's just, that's vanished. I mean, where's the law that comes down upon them for theft? Because that's basically what it is. So I'm totally confused. But anyway, if I actually can name this council, if I actually can publicly bring this forward with the facts and everything like that, I will actually do a follow-up number 2 on this, and I'll actually name them and show the paperwork and the accounts and where money's gone missing and everything. But until I get legal advice and find out whether I can do this or not, I can't at the moment. But anyway, I will say it's a country town. And in country towns, I mean, you know, they get away with blue murder. So anyway, just a warning for anyone who's out there that's paying by direct debits or seems to be a bit sus with their accounts. You can't trust anyone, even your local council. Well, anyway, have a nice day. Don't forget this was on a without prejudice basis.